ever catch yourself, like, actually daydreaming about being happy? Not just, things are fine, but, like, deep down content.
Yeah.
We've gotten a ton of listener questions about this.
Yeah.
And you've brought, like, a whole stack of sources: philosophy, psychology.
Oh, yeah. It's a lot.
It's like a happiness buffet.
It is. We're going deep on this one, exploring all these different angles on happiness.
Okay, but philosophy can be kind of dense, right?
It can be a bit much sometimes.
I'm already feeling full just looking at this stack.
We're here to sample the best bits, those surprising insights that, go beyond those fortune cookie platitudes.
Right, because if happiness were that simple, we'd all be grinning, like, all the time. So where do we even start with all this?
Well, a lot of people think happiness is just about feeling good, right?
Makes sense to me.
But what if it's less about chasing a feeling and more about, I don't know, like building a life?
Building a life.
Yeah, like Aristotle's idea of eudaimonia.
Eudaimonia?
Yeah.
Sounds kind of fancy.
It does, doesn't it?
What is that? Like achieving peak happiness through interpretive dance?
Not quite. Think of it more as flourishing.
Flourishing.
Aristotle believed that true happiness wasn't about, these fleeting highs and lows, but about living a life aligned with virtues. Things like courage, honesty, generosity.
Oh, okay, those deeper qualities.
Exactly. It's about being the best version of yourself consistently.
So it's not just about, like, doing a nice thing here or there, but those actions actually shaping who we become over time.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Huh. I can kind of see that. Like, even if helping someone out is a total pain, it usually feels good to do it,
Exactly. Aristotle would say that every time you act virtuously, even when it's tough, you're actually strengthening those happiness muscles, so to speak.
So it's like building up to a marathon, not just a sprint for a sugary treat.
Exactly. It's about long-term fulfillment.
Okay, that clicks. But hold on, let's talk about another ancient philosopher.
Okay.
Epicurus. Now, I've always kind of heard he was all about, well, epic parties and indulging in every desire.
Right.
Is that accurate?
Epicurus, he gets a bad rap.
He does.
He did value pleasure, but not in a reckless go-wild way.
Okay.
For Epicurus, happiness was about minimizing both physical and the mental pain.
Interesting.
Imagine, like, finding contentment in the simple things. A good conversation, a walk in nature, instead of constantly chasing after that next big thing.
So moderation was key for Epicurus. That's kind of mind-blowing considering he lived, thousands of years ago? Like, in a time with no social media, no online shopping. It's like he was centuries ahead with the whole mindfulness thing.
He was onto something, that's for sure. Think about it. When was the last time you truly savored a simple pleasure? Maybe a delicious cup of coffee, a moment of quiet in a hectic day.
Yeah. Right.
That's Epicurus in action.
It's weird how we, forget to appreciate those little things,
It's true.
Like, we need a philosopher from ancient Greece to remind us to just chill out and enjoy our coffee.
Sometimes those ancient voices have the most relevant advice.
Oh.
And speaking of wisdom, our next stop takes us to Viktor Frankl.
Oh, yeah.
His insights on happiness are just powerful.
Yeah.
Especially considering his life, his experiences in the Holocaust.
Talk about a reality check. To go through something that horrific and still find meaning, happiness even, that's a lot.
His work really makes you think about happiness differently, right?
It does.
Frankl actually believed that, chasing happiness could be a trap.
A trap? How so?
It's like chasing butterflies. You chase and chase, you might catch a few fleeting moments, but true fulfillment, deep down, it comes from something more, something else.
Okay, I'm hooked. What's the something else?
Meaning. Purpose. He's got this famous quote, "Man's search for meaning is the primary motivation in his life."
Wow.
Think about that. We're wired for purpose, even more so than just feeling good. It's about finding what makes you tick, what gets you out of bed, even when things are rough.
So less about being happy all the time, more about having something that matters.
Yes. And what's amazing is that Frankl saw this even in the concentration camps.
Yeah.
The people who held on to some kind of meaning, a loved one, a skill, a belief, they were more likely to survive and even find moments of joy in that darkness.
That's heavy and incredibly inspiring. It makes you realize that happiness, it's not just about what's happening externally, it's also that internal drive, right? That ability to find purpose even in the hardest times.
Exactly. Which actually ties into our next philosophical stop, Buddhism. Now, this might seem like a huge jump
A bit, yeah.
from ancient Greece to, well...
to the pursuit of enlightenment.
Right. but there's a common thread here that I think you'll find fascinating.
Okay, I'm intrigued. So Buddhism, it emphasizes mindfulness, compassion. How does that connect to happiness? Is it like achieving this constant state of bliss?
That's what a lot of people think, but not quite. Buddhism is honest. It doesn't promise a life free of struggles, or even badness for that matter. But it does offer a way to go through the ups and downs with a bit more grace, a little more wisdom. And understanding the nature of suffering is a big part of that.
Suffering. Okay, now that's not a word I usually associate with happiness.
I know, right? It sounds kind of counterintuitive, but stick with me. Buddhism teaches that a lot of our suffering comes from, well, clinging to things, to stuff, to people, to ideas, even to the idea of happiness itself.
Huh.
The more we grasp and attach, the more we suffer when things change. Because let's face it, things always change.
So letting go is key, which makes me think of that whole non-attachment thing people talk about with Buddhism. But letting go, that doesn't mean giving up on good things altogether, right?
Right.
Right. Like, I get wanting good things, a great job, a loving family.
Of course.
But it's like Buddhism saying, hey, don't expect things to stay the same forever.
Yeah. Clinging to that perfect picture is a recipe for, well, freaking out when things inevitably shift.
Which they always do, right?
Always. So it's less about locking things in place and more about, I don't know, appreciating the ride.
The journey, not just the destination.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's where mindfulness comes in.
Okay.
It's not about, emptying your mind completely.
Right.
It's about noticing those cravings, those anxieties,
Yeah.
without letting them control you.
Ah, so you're not ignoring them.
No. You're acknowledging them like, hey, anxiety, I see you, but you're not calling the shots today.
I like that. And it actually ties back to what we were talking about with Aristotle, right?
Well, so?
Well, he was all about building those virtues, courage, self-control,
Right.
mindfulness. In a way, it's like training for that, isn't it?
Exactly. It's like building that letting go muscle.
Yeah.
Every time you practice, you're getting stronger, more resilient.
So we're better able to handle whatever life throws at us. Like we're building our own internal happiness shelter.
I love that analogy. And don't forget Epicurus, finding joy in those simple moments.
Oh, right.
That's a lot easier when you're not,
Yeah.
stuck worrying about the future or dwelling on the past.
Man, this is wild. We've gone from ancient Greece to Buddhism, and somehow it all fits together.
It's all connected.
Like we're putting together a happiness puzzle.
I like it. And the best part is, you get to decide how the pieces fit for you.
So there's no one right way to do this whole happiness thing.
Exactly. It's personal. Think of it like building your own happiness toolkit.
Okay, I like that.
Maybe Aristotle inspires you to, set some goals that really matter, and then you've got Epicurus reminding you to savor that delicious dinner tonight.
Right. And then there's Frankl reminding us to connect with what truly matters.
And Buddhism's there to help you find peace in this moment, right here, right now.
So it's about taking those bits that resonate, building our own unique approach.
Exactly. There's no one-size-fits-all when it comes to happiness.
This whole deep dive has been amazing. It's like happiness, it's not this magical state of being or some far-off destination.
Right.
It's an ongoing thing, a journey. And we actually have more control than we think, which is kind of cool.
I love that. And who knows, maybe this is just the start of your own exploration.
Yeah.
What will you take from all this? What will you add to your happiness toolkit?
What a great question to end on. Big thanks to you, expert, for taking us on this incredible journey through the world of philosophy and, well, happiness.
Of course, it's been a pleasure.
And to you, dear listeners, thank you for joining us on The Deep Dive. Don't forget to let us know what you choose today to cultivate a little more happiness in your life.